Okay, thank you everyone, and a very warm welcome to our webinar today, investment webinar to NSC Glasgow branch. To make a start, we'll just take the opening prayer. We'll have a voiceover, so we don't need to say anything, okay? 1, 2, 3, go. That was the opening prayer, and thank you all. On behalf of the NSC Glasgow branch, the executive members and the entire members, and also the president of Investors of Engineers, Engineer Mrs. Margaret Ogutala, FNSC. I would like to welcome everyone to our webinar today, investments webinar. My name is Engineer Dr. Stephen Ugwai, and I'm the grad chairman. So we think that this one is very timely to some of us professionals here in the UK. Nigeria as a country, we so much value Nigeria as a country, a home country, nowhere like home. So this is more like a call to see, to hear about this opportunity with IBTC Diaspora banking team. And I believe that most of us will find this discussion useful today. Please feel free to discuss and ask any questions at all. And hopefully towards the end of the session, we'll give you the procedure. If you really want to get involved, how to go about that. Thank you very much. So to some of us who don't know us, we are NSC Glasgow branch, one of the most active branches in the diaspora. Our membership is growing, and we support our members through different programs across different cadre of memberships. We've run different programs, including conferences, technical visits, technical webinar, welfare webinars, investment webinars, which are what we have today, training, career mentoring, and so much. So we have a lot to offer as a branch, and we are inviting those who have not yet registered with us to do so, if have the opportunity. And we are approached by Stanbic IBTC, and as a bank being one of the leading financial institutions in Nigeria, we believe that what they have, we had a perception, and we believe that what they have is very useful to some of us here in diaspora. Before we call the team to give us their session, just to share with you what we have ahead of us. We have a conference, an international conference we're organizing here. This is the second version of the conference. This time we are collaborating with University of Strathclyde Student Society and the Article chapter of Glasgow Calvinia University. So the theme of this year's conference is Engineering and Technological Innovation, a foundation for socio-economic development. This topic, I think, is timely. We have a lot of challenges in Nigeria, and the focus of this year's conference is in on this technology to ensure that we're not left behind. And as a branch, we're really playing we're trying to put ourselves at a very strategic position in terms of supporting, in terms of knowledge transfer. So as part of the conference, we're also calling for abstracts for PhD, MSc, and other people in the UK. Feel free to send your abstract. We have extended the deadline to the end of next month, so keep them coming for those who want to come and share their research ideas. And like I said, we have a lot of things that will happen. We have a team that is being led by one of our members, Engineer Pupola, who is with the University of Glasgow, who developed a robot that actually help blind people navigate difficult areas. So I think this will share discussion around what AI can do in terms of different tech sectors in Nigeria. But we're also looking at power as an issue we are hoping that the conference will be able to come up with a solution towards solving some of the power challenges in Nigeria. We have Engineer Lamidu Audu, who will be one of the keynote speakers of mainstream energy solutions. So things are really heating up, and we are asking you to get involved in one way or the other. We are planning a technical visit to one of the Structural Research Center called PNDC. So this place is actually unique in itself, and we're hoping that going here will give a lot of insights to what is happening in the UK. We have other dignitaries that we have confirmed, like the president of our body, NSC, who is the chief host of this occasion, will be here live in Glasgow. We have team Colin, we're working with them for professional registration as well. Yeah, so we have a lot of dignitaries, yeah, that will be here in Glasgow, and we're asking professionals, all engineers and others alike, to join us and come up with anything you think that will be useful to most of these states. If it's a residential district, you think you have something to offer that you can propose, it's about solving these issues that we have as a country, or a way to move forward. We have Engineer Ahmed Kali Amshi will be here, one of our special guests. So we have a whole lot of people that will be here in Glasgow to steer discussions around key sectors of our economy. We have a team that will be coming from Lagos Ministry of Infrastructure. We have a lot of senators and House of Reps, so many in the pipeline. We have Managing Director of Toyota Nigeria will be here. We have our very own, who is not actively from in the past, past chairman of IBTC Nigeria, and so much. So just to tell you that if you really want to see this, just go to our website and everything is there. You can easily register and navigate your way through a lot of information that you can see. We update our website as things on food, and thanks to the team of diverse team here in the UK pushing this forward. So without wasting your time, I will quickly call the technical session leads. We have Engineer Ikich Kumande, who now serves as the Commissioner of Power and Public Utilities in Niger State. Thanks to him. But this session will be handled by Engineer Shegu Oladeloye, who is the branch technical secretary too. He's a highly experienced chartered engineer in the UK with over 80 years of experience of delivering successful projects in the design and installation of building electrical services. He is also the director and lead engineer of Lawrence's Global Services UK. So, Engineer Shegun, over to you to introduce our speakers, our presenters for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the kind introduction. And I would like to welcome everyone to today's webinar. Today's one is a special one, different from the technical webinars that we usually have. So we're having something not exactly engineering, but it's everything that touches on our everyday life, because as we work and as we gather resources and incomes, we hope to put a roof over our heads. And this is an opportunity. Nigerian Society of Engineers Glasgow branch is collaborating with Stanbic IBTC to introduce this product, which could be of assistance for people who want to, get a house back in Nigeria while they're back in the UK. They have a lot of things to share with us, how this is going to work out, what it entails, and the modality of it. So without wasting much time, I only advise that we just a bit of housekeeping, just please mute your device so that we can minimize any background noise. I will call upon the Stanbic IBTC team to introduce themselves and then present the webinar. After the webinar, we will have a session of question and answer. And I believe a lot of people will have questions to raise up. Because we are collaborating with Stanbic IBTC, we want to believe that after this, most people that will indicate interest will then correspondences will be via Nigerian Society of Engineers, because we'll be working with the Stanbic IBTC on this. But I will allow the Stanbic IBTC team to introduce themselves and then kick off the webinar. Thank you. Stanbic IBTC, are you there?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you can share.
Yes.
You are already a co-host. You should be able to share your screen.
Yes, we are. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, honorable members on the call. My name is Aderonke Adeshoy. I'm yet to get a confirmation if my colleagues are here, but without wasting time, I will just delve into the presentation.
So what 1 minute, if it's okay, so that people can be able to see who is talking, if you can put
I'm
on
actually, yes, I would
good.
call up my camera.
Okay,
I'll put on my video, my
That's good.
camera rather. Just a moment, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not used to the Teams. Okay.
The Zoom one.
The Zoom, yes, the Zoom structure. But so just give me a second to just quickly. Okay.
If you hover your mouse over the screen, you probably see. Yes,
I think it's
we can see you now. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aderonke Adeshoy. I currently manage the mortgage business for the bank. I do apologize that my colleagues are not on the call. We're supposed to have my team members as well as my colleagues in the Diaspora banking services. I'd want to say thank you for this opportunity to pitch our solutions for your review as well as your acceptance. If it's okay, if there are no questions, then I would like to go straight into the presentation. I think I might need some help, please. How do I proceed to share my document? Okay, I think I can see share screen.
Yeah, she's share screen below. Yeah.
Screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just one quick one before you continue. I think there is Engineer James. You got your hands raised up. However, we're taking questions after the presentation. So if it is
not a question, just an observation, please.
Okay, 1 minute, please, sir. Thank you.
Fine. So I see some people are not displaying their names. I think maybe for proper level of hygiene on the call, we should know who and who is attending. I've seen some people using their names are showing as iPhone and OAU and so on and so forth. If you don't mind, it will be proper for people to just maybe just put their names out there so we know who and who is there.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that observation. So please, if you can just indicate your name on the call. I think we're all here to learn, so nobody's hiding anything. So if you just indicate your names on the call, will be fine. Thank you, sir. So can you go on, please?
All right. Thank you very much. So today we would want to introduce our Diaspora mortgage proposition to the House and also take feedback on how we can partner with you to solution to your needs as appropriate. For us in Stanbic, we are a leading financial institution. We cater for individuals, corporate businesses, as well as wealth and investment clients with various needs. We are a bank within a holdco structure, and we're also the only bank in Nigeria with a AAA Fitch rating. Our chief executive for the holding company is Dr. Demola Shogunle. The chief executive for the bank, which we represent, is Wale Adeni. The chief executive for our pension business, Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, is Olumide Oyetan. And our executive director for personal and private banking, which focuses on the retail clients like you and I, is Oludelano. So Diaspora Banking is a business within our retail segment that caters basically for Nigerians in diaspora who intend to maintain financial services in the country. Some of the services that we have are basic to financial services that we know, which includes account opening. These categories of clients are able to open transactional accounts in local currencies as well as in pound sterling and in dollars. They would also be privileged to have cards which can allow them use other payment platforms as well as access to digital services, so they're able to check their transactions and account balances online real time, either on internet banking or on their mobile app. In addition to that, we have the Diaspora Mortgage, which allows interested and qualified individuals to go ahead and buy homes in any city or state within the country. And where they already have an existing property, they can actually with duly registered title, they can actually access funds either for personal purpose or to buy another property. The beauty of our diaspora banking service is the fact that we have a dedicated support team to handle inquiries, process transactions, and also ensure that personalized services are given in line with inquiries that may arise. I've talked about the twofold opportunities that we have in terms of our mortgage solutions for the diaspora market. We would also want to state that as a dynamic financial institution, we currently pilot this across four key countries, the US, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Saudi Arabia. The list is not exhaustive. We're happy to also explore engagement and conversations with groups in countries or locations outside this. Primarily, we're looking at qualified individuals in select professions. And these are professions that are key, that pay well, and they are people are easily absorbed based on their qualifications and work experience. So we look at qualified individuals in your honorable profession, engineering, attorney services, IT, educational sectors, oil and gas, media, investment banking, accountancy, football leagues, and the likes. We also expect that by virtue of the fact that they are not resident here, they would have operative accounts wherever they are, and they are able to provide us a proof of their cash flows, which will show evidence of their salary deposits as well as other cash flows that they may have based on their employment contract. There is a mandatory equity contribution that is required. There is a mandatory equity contribution that is required, which is a minimum of 25% of the value of the property. And then, of course, we will be requiring a credit report from the country of residence where they are, just to assess their the creditworthiness of the applicant. And then, of course, an updated CV and a photo ID to support the application. There is a minimum monthly income qualification that is required, which is the equivalent of 500,000 naira in the currency of the location of the applicant. We're happy to avail mortgages for up to a tenure of 15 years, which is 118 months. Currently, the mortgages can only be done in the local currency, which is in Naira. We're happy to do that across all the cities and states in Nigeria. So that takes away the burden or the concerns around the key hubs, which have been the areas of concentration in recent years. In terms of off-plan mortgages, we have a number of developers that we have partnered with. We're happy to share their projects with you. Should you find anything of interest, we would be glad to fund them to finance a unit for you as well. And we're also happy to pick up conversations with any developer that you may have ongoing conversations with, such that we would see how we can profile and also onboard them for your benefit, should you wish to buy units from such a developer. In creating mortgages in Stanbic IBTC, it is important that the property to be financed has a registered title, and all the various titles that are issued by the lands registry in country are considered acceptable. And these are titles such as certificate of occupancy, famously known as a C of O, a deed of assignment, and any other deed that is duly registered and issued by the state's registry, the lands registry in the respective states. In terms of pricing, the interest rate is actually benchmarked along a base rate, which is actually determined by the Reserve Bank in the country, which is the Central Bank of Nigeria. And that base rate is currently 24.75. And for diaspora mortgages, we do a +1 on that. So effectively, the interest rate is 25.75 for anyone who would want to take the mortgage as at today. We've seen an increase in pricing due to a lot of things, economic variables that are happening. And we do hope that as the reforms of the government are being executed, there should be an improvement in all these variables positively. In terms of management fee, we do charge a 1% fee upfront, and it's one-off. So there are no quarterly fees, there are no biannual fees, there are no end-of-term fees. In terms of liquidation, should you decide to pay off the loan before the expiration of the facility, would like to also inform you that there are no charges. However, liquidations, those type of liquidations are only allowed after a 90-day period from the date of disbursement. Repayment is expected to commence on a monthly basis, and where there are other guaranteed cash flows that you would want us to consider in terms of the repayment, we would need to see evidence of those sources of payments as well for review. We would also want to introduce our home loan marketplace to you. Basically, this is a digital portal that allows you to view an inventory of residential properties. We currently don't build, so we have partnered with developers that we bank, basically, and some that we have established a partnership with to showcase their inventory of properties for your benefit. However, whatever property that you would like to consider, we usually advise that you engage the seller and, if possible, get someone to visit the property, take pictures or video the property to you before you proceed to conclude or close out on that transaction. In addition to that, on this marketplace, you're able to do various simulations in terms of what you can access using the eligibility calculator. There are variables that you have to input data on, and it allows you to play around with what you can get based on the age factor, income, as well as equity that will be required to access a mortgage. We also have FAQs. We also have FAQs on the platform, frequently asked questions across all our various products, which you can read. And then
please, if you're not speaking, can you mute?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And then you can also drop us a note if you would like a consultant or a specialist to reach out to you on any information that you may require or inquiry. I'd like to stop here to take questions or comments or reactions. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Adoronke, for the presentation. I think it'd be good if you can turn on your camera. I see that there are members of your team already on the call. So just before we start taking questions, if they can put on their camera and also introduce themselves, so that we see the people from the bank that are speaking to us, that would be good. I noticed that are quite a number of them. Olusegun Oladejo, if you can please just start your camera and then introduce yourself. I think there is Helen Emeka Ndukwe. I think there's Omowumi Ajila. Pardon me if I don't pronounce very well. Ayobami Oluwatosin. Are they here? Can you introduce yourself? Okay. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and start taking questions and answer. I think we have Engineer Agadike. Good evening, sir. Please unmute yourself and ask your question, sir.
Good evening, my chairman, wonderful members of Glasgow branch, and good evening, all participants in today's wonderful presentation. I want to appreciate Stanbic for taking this opportunity to make this presentation, and I feel happy to be here. Well, first and foremost, let me inform the Stanbic team that we all here are maybe associate members. There are some associate members of Glasgow branch, like myself, who reside fully in Nigeria, but will not miss this webinar. And the presentation has been, or the packages have been tailored towards our colleagues, our friends who are presently physically in the diaspora. I want to first and foremost point out that this could lead to a larger collaboration, because the Nigerian government has a policy of NHS, National Housing Scheme, which has been running over the years. But due to certain circumstances, it's difficult for employees of the government, people who work 35 years, to be able to access these facilities. And recently, the government even came up with a policy to enable their personnel to be able to draw down on our pension funds to be able to acquire personal homes. And still, that facility is still very, very difficult for most people to be able to access, given the fact that there are so many hurdles that will need to be crossed. So I want to appeal to the Stanbic team because my salary bank account is Stanbic and my pension fund is Stanbic. So I want to appeal to the Stanbic team to maybe after this presentation, look into how we can also partner to help the Stanbic or other people in Nigeria who may be finding it difficult to access such facilities. Thank you very much once again, Glaxo, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, and I wish us the best.
Thank you so much, Engineer Agadike, and apologies I didn't introduce you very well. That's Engineer Abraham Agadike, FNSC, is a National ESCO member. So if you can go ahead and respond to his question and comments.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Your comments are very valid. We're also aware of the activities of the NHS, as you rightly said. However, there are certain parties that are currently accredited to participate in that scheme. As it is today, the government only allows the primary mortgage institutions, which are the smaller mortgage houses, to actually handle transactions relating to those contributions that have been done by employees. There are also ongoing conversations around how we can come in, but until those conversations are actually closed, it means for anyone who would want to go through that route, they would have to start those applications with the primary mortgage banks. And it's also important to know that not all the primary mortgage banks are accredited for that scheme. So only the accredited ones are the ones that are qualified and licensed to support those type of applications towards the Federal Mortgage Bank for the funds. Engineer Abraham, I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Yes, you answered my question, but did not solve my problem.
Yes,
Thank you
I do apologize.
Thank you very much for a very honest response to the question. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Before we go on to the next person, I see that some of your staff are here. So maybe if they want to introduce themselves, just a brief introduction and then we'll go ahead. So Helen, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Apologies, I couldn't show my face earlier. My name is Helen. I work with the I work directly with Adere Kadeshoy in the home loans units. Thank you.
Thank you. Wumi, if you can unmute and just introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Omoumi Ajila, and I'm with the private banking team with Stanbic IBTC. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have Tosin Ayo Olowo. If you can just unmute and show your face and introduce yourself. We can't hear you, and please unmute yourself.
Okay, good evening. My name is Ayobami Ayolowo, and I work directly with Aderonke in the home loans unit.
Okay, thank you. Any other Stanbic staff here? You want to introduce yourself?
Good evening. Sorry, I can't show my face. I am Engineer Olusegun Oladejo, MNSC. I'm a member of Stanbic. I'm a staff of Stanbic IBTC Bank, the regional sales manager for Southwest. A member of NSC Ogbomoso branch, and I can see my vice president, Engineer Demola Guru, in the meeting as well. And for others, for those who are in Nigeria, I think we can organize. I've put my phone number on the chat as well. We can move from branch to branch to organize, and if need be, we can also extend to the current assembly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I will go to Engineer Chinedu Nwauma. Can you unmute and ask your question? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the NSC Glasgow for organizing this. I am from NSC London, so I'm joining via the link that was distributed in our platform. I also thank Stanbic IBTC for presenting this. If an area I have an interest, and my question goes, I think probably 2-3 questions. I will ask them together. One is what Stanbic Diaspora Mortgage is organizing. Is that part of the NHSF Diaspora Mortgage Scheme? I could remember, I think sometime last year when I contacted the NHSF, they did say they're organizing something for the diasporas, but it has not gone live. So, but they said they will contact me anytime they're ready, or they have gone live, but I've not heard anything from them. So that's one, just to get clarification on that. And then, secondly, with regards to the criteria you presented as qualification, you did mention the type of titles you're looking for. My experience with the most of the developers in Nigeria, most of the titles are not CFO, some are something like governor's consent and the rest. So in that regards, where the title is something like that governor's consent is not something acceptable. So that's my second question, if you can clarify on those titles. And the last one is you did mention that you have some developers you partner with. This is not a question, but probably ask if you can, is there any way we can know those are the developers you partner with? I believe with those you already partner with. The issue of title you mentioned earlier probably is something I've already verified and validated with them already, and that takes that part, take care of that part. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. You can go ahead and answer.
Thank you very much, Engineer Chinedu Nwauma. I'd like to start with the last question with respect to the developers that we partner with. Currently, we have about five of them that we partner with, and predominantly their projects are in Lagos and in Abuja. Some of those names you may already know, like you also referenced. I will just mention their names here. So we have Design Union, we have Brains and Hammers, we have Urban Shelters, we have Remax Realtors, and then we have Jide Taiwo and Co does not build, but they have an inventory of a lot of properties that you can buy from. And then for the high-end top luxury, we have Fine and Country. In terms of title documents that you did inquire on, the emphasis on duly registered title documents is basically for your benefit, because in creating mortgages that span for a very long term, it is important that at the point of exit, the applicant is walking away with a title that bears their name. And the only way we can give that joy is where the legal ownership of the property to be financed can be established, and that makes the transfer process easy. So where there is no title, what it means is inevitably the bank does not have any collateral, and you would not have a title. at the end of the mortgage payment. So, which is why the bank has an emphasis on the title document. And unfortunately, so what it means is if we're trying to, or if we're in any form of conversation where the seller does not have a title to the project site or the building that is being put up or offered for sale, what it means is we would not be able to establish a mortgage contract for that transaction. In terms of the NHS scheme, which you also mentioned that we had reached out to you sometime last year, that the conversation was not conclusive. It is still pretty much same because we do not have that approval yet as an accredited lender to participate on that scheme. To access that fund, only the smaller mortgage banks, we call them the primary mortgage banks, and just a few of them are accredited to actually help workers access that fund through Federal Mortgage Bank. Like I said earlier, there are open conversations ongoing, but how quickly that will be closed, I'm unable to commit to that, but the conversations have commenced. And until those conversations are closed, we would not be able to give any commitment as regards any funding or probabilities on funding on that particular scheme. I think those were the three questions that I noted, sir. Engineer Chinedu, I don't know if that helps or if perhaps you have any comments as regards my response, sir.
Yes, you did clear my question there. Just for clarification, the NHS thing I'm talking about is the I know already they have the staff local staff program. This is the program that was scheme they call the Diaspora NHS Mortgage, so which is aimed at Nigerians in diaspora. So my question was if your program, Stanbic Diaspora program, is part of that NHF Diaspora program, but as you said, it seems like both the primary, the local one, Stanbic is not on that NHF scheme already. So the Diaspora one, I'm not sure it's online, it's gone live yet. So my question was if that one has gone live, if Stanbic was it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's we are needed to get clarification. Thank you so much for those.
Thank you, Engineer Chinedu, for that. I'll go to Dr. Chukwuma Obonaya. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Glasgow branch, for organizing this, and thank you, the Stanbic IBTC team, for this opportunity. So my question and also observation is that, as you know, most of the people living overseas, the primary residence, it will be overseas. So I was just wondering, I know some people may want to buy a house. Maybe is it to live in it or to rent it out? That's what I was just thinking. And because of that, I was just thinking if you're also considering a situation where people want to build structures for maybe for as factory. For instance, a few days ago, I was talking with one engineer that designed a machine that could be mass produced. So I was just wondering, maybe such people, can they get this funding, build a factory, just a factory, okay, for mass production of their products? Or is it just for residential building. If it is for residential building, I would recommend you also consider maybe people building an office, okay, or building a factory, because I think that most people also think in that direction if they can also be investing back in Nigeria. I think it's a very good idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Ogbonna. Your observations are also valid in terms of the different needs that individuals, needs and aspirations, if I may say, that we all have as individuals. In terms of this particular solution as at today, it's currently just for the purchase of residential homes. However, those homes can actually be for living. They could also be for let in terms of rental, and they could also be used for any other ROE, return on investment activity, as the case may be. In terms of providing finance to individuals to build, either by way of offices, shops, and other projects, as the case may be. That is not currently contained in this solution. However, we have other solutions outside this that we may consider based on their cash flow. And more importantly, that will require some form of collateral in terms of the funds that will be required, and also evidence of the cash flows. But again, it's important to know that that is outside this offering. So it will not be a diaspora mortgage. For anyone who has a property in country, we had also given a hint earlier that you can unlock value on that property if the property is duly registered in your name, whereby you have registered titles to that property and it is registered in your name. You can actually unlock value. What it means is we can give you cash up to 50% if you want to use it for any personal obligation. So perhaps for those who would like to build and they already have assets in their name, they may want to explore that equity release option. Because in terms of construction as at today, there are so many other factors that will be considered if we say we want to give out funds to an individual. But like I said earlier, for those who do not have a property, but would have a need for that, we can actually look at other solutions that could meet that need, but it would require other conditions or requirements to secure that loan in terms of those needs. Engineer Dr. Ogbonna, I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Yeah, you've done justice to it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, just a follow-up on that question. For the equity release option, is it just for fully completed property, or can you have, if you have lands, do you release equity on the basis of that?
Okay, so currently we do that on the building that is on the land, because you'll agree with me that when the value on a piece of land that has a property or a structure on it is worth more than a piece of land. So the appetite we have right now is for a land that has a structure on it. So if you have title to any kind of structures like that, then you would qualify to access the equity release. But that cannot be done on just a piece of land, if that was the inquiry.
Okay, thank you for that. If you want to ask any question, please, you can just raise up your hands and I will come to you. But I think I've got two questions here. The first one is, do you have a threshold of earnings before one can qualify for this product? Last one. And then the second one is, what's the duration for processing such facilities? And I think the third one, I don't know if you've touched on it, is how do you begin the process? What we're saying, I think we've mentioned at the beginning, is obviously anybody that wants to indicate interest, you can, I think my chairman will share our contact, NSC Glasgow. You can get in touch with us and we can put you through. But I want to hear from you. How do you begin the process?
Okay, Engineer Larry, I do apologize early. I missed the first question. Could you take that again, please?
Yeah, the first question is, do you have a salary threshold before you can qualify for this product?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, sir. So yes, we do have a salary threshold, which is the equivalent of 500,000 in terms of net income earning on a monthly basis. So whatever that translates to in the currency that is being paid in the country of where the applicant resides is the minimum threshold in terms of qualifying net income for the solution. In terms of the duration for the process, the structures, the process is pretty much similar to all the other variants that we have. We have the due diligence checks that will be done to ensure that the property title exists, is genuine, and there are no encumbrances, the evaluation, the insurance, and then of course the execution of the legal document. So the stages are pretty much the same. And like we always say, in a situation where the reports come back satisfactory and the seller and the buyer are available to meet all the conditions and the requirements to execute the legal document, then we should be able to close out a transaction within a minimum of 6 weeks. However, we have stages that are not within our control, which may prolong that SLA. So take, for instance, the professionals that we engage in terms of the due diligence. We have to place reliance on the officials within the state registry to validate the genuineness and the legal state of the property. So in an instance where we do not get prompt response from that state government, that may prolong the SLA, and that usually is not within our control. In terms of the execution of the legal document, at times we do get pushback from the seller around certain clauses which they may want us to review as an institution. So at times that back and forth may cause some delay before the execution of the document. And then more importantly, evidence of tax payment, tax liability payment, evidence of tax payments, basically, sometimes may constitute some form of delay. We've found instances where sellers are unable to provide any form of tax payment to the government, and those documents are actually important to process the ownership transfer of title. So in instances like that, it may prolong that SLA. But in terms of the duties and the expectations on the part of the bank in terms of review, preparation of documents, those are done very, very promptly. So finally, you asked, how do you begin the process? So basically, we usually like applicants to start with an eligibility check. The mortgage solution is available for 15 years, and we do know that different individuals are at different stages of the circle of life. Some of us are still 16, some of us are 20, some of us are 45. And we expect that applicants would exit their mortgage obligations latest by age 60. So basically what that means is the older an applicant is, the shorter the tenure. And if the tenure is short, what it means is that equity contribution bit that we have put at a minimum of 25% of the value of the property will tilt upwards, which means more funds will have to be pulled in. So usually we advise that the first thing to be done is to have an eligibility check done so that you are able to have an idea of what your current cash flows can support, and then your capacity to bring in additional funds if perhaps what you can access is not within the price range for the choice properties that you would want to buy. At the point where there is a flow or an idea around that, then the individual is advised to search for a property. We don't mandate that you have to buy from our inventory. So if you have a real estate agent or a developer or anybody, your own choice property seller, you can please feel free to engage, negotiate, inspect, agree a price, and get an offer for sale later. At the point where you have done that, then you can come back to the bank with all the supporting documents, and then we'll take it up from there, and then the journey begins. So the application can actually be done in paper form, or it could be done digitally through the marketplace. So depending on your preference, you can do that. But importantly, the eligibility check is the first step. And then secondly, there must be some form of conversation with the seller, inspection of the title of the property itself, confirmation that a title document to the property exists, and then of course, agree a price and get an offer for sale letter before you come back to us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Just as a follow-up question to that is, it will be good if you can share where maybe a link for the eligibility checks, if anybody's going to do a check before they indicate any interest. The second one is on evidence of tax payment. Is that for the buyer or for the seller? If it is for the buyer, who probably is abroad, how does he have to evidence that if he's not paying tax within the country? And then the last one I will ask, somebody else, you may have touched on it, but somebody just asked, is what is the range of interest rates for the mortgage that you're offering? I know you've touched upon it, but maybe the person missed it. If you can just say something about that.
Okay, so I'll start with the interest rate. The interest rate is not fixed, is actually linked to a base rate as determined by the Reserve Bank, which is the Central Bank of Nigeria. As at today, that base rate is 24.75. But effectively, the interest rate applicable for diaspora mortgages is a 1% plus that base rate. So effectively, a 25.75% interest rate is applicable on the diaspora mortgage as at today. It may change. In terms of the tax requirement, I think predominantly it would be on the part of the seller. If there is a need for, because like you rightly said, the Ayobami, please correct me. The tax requirement is on the part of the seller, isn't it?
Both parties.
Both parties. Okay, thank
Yes.
you. So,
Yes.
Okay, so basically what it means is you would have to provide us the evidence of your tax payment over there. And then the seller would also provide theirs over here as well.
Okay, so the tax payment is in your place of residence.
So whatever tax papers that you have in country that applies in country as an employee, you would need to provide those papers to us. For us in Nigeria, you have the pay as you earn, which shows, and then you get a tax clearance certificate that shows that. So if you have that kind of certificate over there as well, we will need it. So kindly provide that. So that is a responsibility on the part of both parties, which is the seller and the buyer. And then in terms of the eligibility, we can drop the link to the marketplace, and then you can access the eligibility calculator on that portal. And then if you prefer an Excel sheet, we can also let us know who you would want, how you would want that communicated, or who we should share that with. And then we can also share that with you. So whichever one is preferred, we can deliver, yes. We can deliver.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we will probably take the last two questions. So we've got two hands up, and I will invite Engineer Blessing Ogbonna. So please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to ask, I had an experience of a friend who took a loan, and what they gave as interest. And when you look at it, at the end of the day, he paid more. That is to say, in a kind of a compound interest. I want to ask, in your own case, is it a one-off simple interest, or it's a compound interest? I really want to know, because when you say 25%, at the end of the day, you look at it, you are paying more than you think it should be 25% of the amount of money you take. I need clarity on that interest rate. How is the interest calculated? Is it to get a simple interest, distribute it literally a number of years, or it's in a form of compound interest? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Blessing Ogbonna. Every borrower is very mindful of what he or she pays, whether it's for 30 days or whether it's for 10 years. So thank you for that question. Basically, the interest is on a reducing balance, and it's actually compound. So basically what that means is you pay more in terms of the interest element at the beginning of the mortgage contract, and then it tapers down towards the expiration of the facility. Basically what that, it's also, in a way, it could, like I said earlier, applicants are not bound to stay the entire tenure of the facility. So if as at today you take out a mortgage for 15 years, but there is a windfall of receivables that come your way, and it's enough to take out the mortgage, maybe by year 4 or by year 3 or by year 5, you can also do that. And basically what you will be doing is paying on the outstanding principal element only, and not the interest element, because the interest has not been earned. So yes, the interest is on a compound interest basis, is also on a reducing balance. But the beauty of it is you have the option to pay off whatever your outstanding principal is at the point where you're ready. I don't know if that helps, sir.
It can be a little practical on that. I wanted to, some of the questions I wanted to ask have been answered. But I would like to point out something, if you can reiterate it a little bit. you earlier on you did classify the kind of people you want to onboard on this mortgage facility, kind of some professions anyway. And I don't know if I'm correct, anyway, because that was maybe just a class of professions of Stanbic Bank or engineers or something. But I think that's the kind of qualification of people you wanted or like that is eligible to come. Outside that, every profession you're not eligible to come on board, if I'm correct. On the other side, looking at the credit facility, Experian, Equifax, and all that, is it for Nigeria or for UK? If I'm correct. And I don't know how I'm going to use that factor to be able to validate this is a Nigerian investment, not a foreign investment, not UK investment, using my credit facility here to justify Nigerian investment or mortgage I want to purchase in Nigeria, which doesn't over well with me, because I know a couple of my friends who are Nigerians who have come to UK to make investment, and they don't have credit facility in Nigeria and UK, and they were able to do that investment on a legitimate approach. They were not. I know one factor we were able to establish very, very well was anti-money laundering checks, which was done properly, and they were able to make that investment. So I don't know, because anyway, this is a feedback. You should also go back and consider how we're going to use the Equifax and cash flow wise, like for example, on myself, Shegun knows me very well. My profession is not in that area, and I don't want to assume one anyway. I'm into logistics in a couple of years. In a year, our turnover was cash flow was £150,000. Now, cash flow wise, everything wise, we're able to be, but in profession wise, there's no gray area there. We didn't come closer by because it's not the kind of people we are looking for. And so if I'm making sense here, then the in terms of paying back and age-wise limit, I'm out of the game because I'm not even eligible. I won't come closer, even though I have the cash flow anyway to make that kind of investment. But there's some little things we have to fine-tune here to make it more fluid, flexible for us to, I understand the terrain back home anyway, so that's a little hiccup.
Okay, thank you so much, Otto. I think what I didn't say, I don't get at the beginning, is we extended the invitation far and wide beyond NSC Glasgow. So there may be some people who are not specifically engineers here, but I want to believe your approach is for professionals in diaspora. So
Correct.
I want to believe that should be applicable. But you can go ahead and answer Otto's question, and then we will come to engineer Dr. Rashid Babalola, FNSC, for this question and the last one. So go ahead and answer, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So that means, sir, is it okay to address Mr. Otto as an engineer, or are you saying he's not an engineer?
It's not an engineer, but it's
Okay,
not his own profession, yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much, Mr. Otto. Thank you so much for the feedback. The professions that we had referenced earlier is not exhaustive. We're also open to other professions. So if your profession, for instance, which we are yet to confirm, is something that the bank is willing to take a risk on, then oh yes, then we will put it on we would also put it on the list. But the professions that we had referenced, I'd like to say they're not exhaustive, but those are the current professions of focus that we're working with on this profession. In terms of age, most of the solutions in country have age limits, minimum entry age limit, as well as maximum age exits. If for any reason we need to do outside that, we need to fully understand the peculiarities of the applicants. And based on that, we're able to evaluate such an application and then give a decision. So without having a view of what the peculiarities of the application is, we're unable to say, no, we're not able to do it, or say a yes, we're able to do it. So it would be nice to have more information around what you have said. If we're able to reach you, we can have your email address or a phone number we can reach you on, so that we better understand those categories of individuals that you're talking about in terms of their cash flows, in terms of their age, who are still working, who still get jobs, even though they may not get jobs as professionals, but they do have other receivables. If we have more insights around those categories of individuals, then we're able to see how we can solution appropriately for that market as well. Mr. Otto, I hope that is comforting to your questions, sir. So if you'll be kind enough to please drop your contact details on the chat, myself and my team will be able to pick it up, and then we can reach out to you for another conversation on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Aderonke, for that. So before we go to the last question, sir, I would say you can drop your contacts within the chat room, even if it's further question or show of interest or whatever it is. Just drop your contacts there. We will collate it and probably commence the process. So we will respectfully go to Engineer Dr. Rashid Babalola, FNSC, for his question as the last question of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, my able chairman, Engineer Dr. Stephen Uwayi. Permit me to recognize my vice president on call, Engineer Demola Guru, and indeed some National ESCO members that are here on call. I most sincerely appreciate this effort of Glasgow UK branch for this knowledge sharing webinar all the time. This is highly commendable. Let me go straight to my questions. Even though I like to commend the anchor, the Diaspora, IBTC Diaspora bank team that have come to facilitate this very important lecture. Indeed, we engineers, we need such, so that we will not die without having what we intend to achieve in life. So thank you. My questions are as follows. Sorry, there are more than one, and I want to make some clarification, even though I presently live in Nigeria, but you know, we are stable. Tomorrow you can find me any part of the world. So I also want to benefit with this diaspora opportunity. So my first question is this. What type of property can I purchase? Can one purchase with a diaspora mortgage with IBTC? That's one. My second question is, what support services are available for diaspora customers throughout the mortgage processes? That is number two. Number three is, how is the mortgage repayment structure, and what payment method are accepted or acceptable? So that is the third one. And the final one is there any insurance or protection available for the mortgage in case of unforeseen circumstances? I think that is all I need to ask. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir, for your numerous questions. So, Aderonke, can you go ahead and answer? Thank you.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Babalola. I noted 4 questions, and I'd like to start with the very first one in terms of the type of property to be purchased. So currently, only residential units, residential homes that one can live in, will qualify for financing under the Diaspora mortgage. We're also able to help you purchase semi-finished. So if we say we're looking at homes, we're looking at completed and then close to completed, semi-finished, we'll be glad to help you finance the purchase. In terms of support services for Diaspora clients, so we have the services that relate to the mortgages, which is what we've talked about. And we have services that relate to relationship management in terms of your operative account and your financial needs as they may arise. So yes, there is a dedicated team that handles that. And then you also get, should you decide to bank with us, you would also get a personal relationship manager who would be on standby, basically, if I may say that, to attend to your needs and also any inquiries you may have concerning any of your banking transactions. In terms of mortgage repayment structure, repayments are expected to happen on a monthly basis. I did mention that if there are any other guaranteed allowances that are paid and are evidenced on a bank statement, we may also consider that. But evidence of salary deposits paid monthly would also be aligned with the expected repayment on the mortgage. So the expectation is that repayment will be done on a monthly basis for any mortgage that is availed. In terms of insurance, there is an insurance element to every mortgage in every part of the world. And the insurance is of two types. We have an insurance policy on the applicant for the loan amount that the bank is exposed to. And then there is an insurance cover on the property against special perils and any other thing that could create any form of damage to the property. I also think I did hear comments around what happens in event where the applicant is no more, passes on, or is deceased. So basically, in terms of the life insurance, it covers, I think it covers death and permanent disability. We may also include job loss in it, but that takes the premium a bit higher. And in event of the death of an applicant while the mortgage is still in existence, the recovery team will try and reach out to the next of kin or family members to find out if there are any expressions of interest around holding on to the property, as the case may be, and if there will be any form of payment that will be done to take out that exposure. In event where those conversations are not going as planned, then the last resort will be to foreclose on the property, which means the property will be put in the market to close out the indebtedness of the applicant. I think that's pretty much all your questions, Engineer Babalola. Or did I miss anything? Thank you,
no,
sir.
you didn't. I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chair, please, I would like to request for a handover to my colleague, among me on the call. There is something domestic that is requiring my urgent attention. Please pardon me. I'll try and come back as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thanks. I think we actually come to the end of the Q&A, and probably that would be the end of the webinar. So I will hand over to my chairman, engineer Dr. Stephen Ogwai, and if he requires the Stanbic IBTC team, he will reach out to me. So my chairman, engineer Dr. Stephen Ogwai, please over to you.
Thank you, Engineer Egun, for anchoring this program in such a wonderful manner. So I'm not sure if Umi wanted to say something before we close. Is there anything that's urgent or something? Do you have anything to share again? Or I'm mindful of the fact that we'll have like 5 minutes to the end of the program.
Thank you very much, sir. I think Ronke has done justice to this and all the questions being asked. I just want to say on behalf of the team, thank you very much to the entire Glasgow branch and every other person on the call by proxy for the opportunity to have this engagement with you. And we hope we're able to move things forward from here. The slide presentation will be shared with the chairman, which can be disseminated to every other person. And that slide has our contact details. So if there are any other further inquiries, questions, or if you would want to take up this value proposition as far back as onboarding on account opening to at least have your account opened pending while you settle for a property that you want, we're readily available to take that on. Thank you very much once again.
All right, thank you very much. So I would like to use this opportunity and thank everyone for having the time to join us, especially from the national headquarters. We have senior personalities, national executive being here, person of engineer Ademola Agoro FNSC, engineer Ibrahim Hamadiko FNSC, and so many others. Before I conclude, I would like to give the immediate chairman of the branch, Engineer Dr. Olusegun Adelero, to just say a few words before we finalize, or maybe one of the national ESCO can just also give a remark. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my chairman, Engineer Dr. Stephen Ogwai. Thank you for the opportunity to make a remark. Thank you, the IBTC team, for coming on board to unlock some of the unknowns area in terms of opportunities for we diasporas to be able to have a roof in Nigeria. We appreciate your time, and I hope we'll continue to trend, as things goes on, especially in this topic and for that collaboration with NSC Glasgow branch. I don't have more to say, but than to say big thank you to everyone on the call just now, and also to remind everyone on the call that the NSC Glasgow conference, July 18 to 19 is coming up. And if you've not registered, if you are a member of the Glasgow branch and you'll just be one of the luckiest one, and you can easily register through the branch. We are expecting is going to be full of different packages, and I just pray nobody will miss that conference. So it's going to be one of the best ever organized conference one. And for that conference to be successful, we want you to be part of it. We want everybody on this call to join us at the NSA Glasgow Conference 2024 at the Strathclyde University. However, I will not leave the call without giving the opportunity to our Vice President, Engineer Ademola Agoro, to say one or two words, and then I think my chairman can take over from there. Please, if you've not registered for this conference, please don't waste time. If you are within the branch, you can locally register within the branch. You may not necessarily have to go through the website. You can register within the branch with a significant discount amount of money as well. So it's going to be a good one, but let's continue to share that gospel of the 2024 conference. Thank you. Over to you, Engineer Ademola Guru, FNSC, the Vice President, Nigeria Society of Engineers, for your remarks, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, my chairman, my IPC, and the chairman of the bank. I want to, on behalf of the president and the chairman council, thank the Glasgow branch for this wonderful webinar. Is part of learning. You really understand the vision of the society, and what you are doing is to help our members to be able to. It's part of the work, which is really good one. I thank the people from Stanbic too for a beautiful presentation, and I hope that our people will be able to take advantage of this and be able to come into property ladder. Thank you once again, and I'm just hoping that I'll be able to see you guys during the Glasgow conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Vice President, Engineer Ademola Guru, FNIC. So thank you, everyone. Just some key information. If you are hoping to progress, found this useful and you want to progress that forward, please contact us at contact@nscglasgow.org.uk. The email is on the chat box. Please try to reach out to us and feel free to drop your contact details before you drop off for the slides. We'll make that available. And the event has been recorded as well. So we are hoping to see the IBTC team in Glasgow. Hopefully, if you sign up and you really want to engage them one-on-one, hopefully they will be here in July to actually join us in Glasgow and speak to as many people as possible. So take your time, have a read through. I think they've shared a website where you can do the assessment to understand what solution is useful for that you can opt in for. So thank you, everyone, and I encourage you to sign up for our conference. The time is fast approaching. A lot of people have registered. We need as many people as possible to really get it more engaging. And thank you, everyone. So I think this will take us to the closing prayer. And in 1, 2, 3, we go.